Hey, what's going on guys, it's Bloodhound here, and today I'm continuing the Java tutorial series. Today we will be talking about comments, variables, and arrays. So to start, we are going to talk about comments. So this is a single line comment. It has two slashes in front of it to signify that the rest of the line will be a comment. Such as here, this is not a comment, but over here is. And some comments are longer than others, so you may need multiple line comments. So to start a multiple line comment, you have a slash, an asterisk, and then you can go however many lines down, and you end it with an asterisk and a slash. You can do that or that. It does not really matter. So, variables. To start, we will be talking about primitive data types besides string. We will talk about that later. And primitive data types are the most simple types of variables such as int, double, boolean, and char. Int means integer. It can be positive, negative, or 0, but it cannot be a decimal. Double means decimal. It can be positive, negative, or 0, and it can be a decimal. Boolean means true or false. So you can do this or that. A string is not a primitive data type. It is an object, which is a topic I will be covering later on. However, it is very commonly used, which is why I'm including it here. A string is a sequence of characters and can be used for anything you need multiple characters to say, such as hello. Char means character. This data type stores one character and one character only, such as O. Now we have less commonly used primitive data types. We'll start with the ones most related to int. We have byte, short, and long. They can all be positive, negative, or 0, but they cannot be a decimal. Byte has the lowest minimum to maximum value range, making it the less memory consuming. Long has the highest minimum to maximum value range, making it the most memory consuming. I set long L to the system's current time in milliseconds to show that timestamps use the long data type. You may be wondering where int falls into place in here, and the answer is in between short and long, making it the second most memory consuming data type. However, as a beginner, you shouldn't worry too much about what kind of integer variable you use, because until you get more advanced, you'll mostly be using int. Next, we have the last primitive data type. This one is called a float, and it is most related to double. This is basically a double, except it has a smaller minimum to maximum value range. And as a side note, you must have the letter F next to your decimal to signify that it is a float. If you don't, it'll say found double. So you must have an F next to it. Alright, so now we are ready to see the minimum and maximum values for everything, as well as the current time in milliseconds. So we're going to go ahead and run this program. And you can see that int goes from negative 2 billion, I believe that is, to positive 2 billion. And double, quite large. Bytes, quite small. Longs, huge. And you can see the current time in milliseconds at the time of my recording. And floats are quite large, but not as large as doubles. Now onto arrays. An array is a sequential collection of elements of the same type. You declare an array by putting the data type, and then square brackets, the name of your variable or array, put the equal sign, and then curly brackets, and then your semicolon. And inside the curly brackets, you put all of your elements that you want inside of it, separated by commas and then a space. You don't exactly need a space, but it looks better than without a space. Each element in an array is indexed with a certain number. It starts from 0 and counts upwards from there. To get an element of an array, you type the array's variable name and put square brackets, and in the square brackets you put the index of the element you want. So, for example, this one, the index goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And so if I want to get the third element, I would go 0, 1, 2, and I put 2 there. And so I'm going to show you guys an example of all of these. And so this one gets a 6th element, this one gets the 1st element, and then down here, remember how I said a string is an object, not a primitive data type? Well, objects are declared saying new, or they're created using new and then the name of the object, and then in the parentheses it takes whatever arguments it requires. So with strings, it can create a string by putting a character array inside of the parentheses. So I'm going to show you an example of that. So 4 is the 3rd element, 0.0 is the 1st element, true, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th element. And then here I said I just combined all of the elements by putting 0, 1, and 2 to say, hey, what's up, hello. And then here we have an array of bunch of characters that spell out char array. And then we passed that into the string, and it created a string that said char array. Alright, after I recorded everything, I realized that I never really explained how to declare a variable. So it's pretty easy. Just type the type. So in this example, it's going to be int. And then we're going to say my integer. And notice how we have my is lowercase, and then the I in integer is uppercase because we are using lower camel case conventions. And you put equals, and then your number. Pretty, not that hard. You can just print that out, system.out.println my integer, semicolon, and you run that, and it says 3. So that's all for today. I hope to see you guys in the next episode. Peace.